So, Flames fans, Kings fans, today we are bonding over something else than your shared hatred for the Edmonton Oilers. Because what I wanted to do was dive into a trade update that we have received from David Pagnotta of the Fourth Period, who made an appearance on Edmonton Sports Talk's Hello Hockey show earlier yesterday. This was a really interesting update because it dives into a very particular name that the Calgary Flames have they have been trying to shop, trying to get him out of there because of the situation with this contract and the fact that he is a very good NHL defenseman. Kings fans, cover your ears because today we're going to be talking about how Rasmus Andersson rejected a trade to your team. At least, he kind of did. Not directly, but let's get into it here. So, we've made a bunch of videos talking about Rasmus Andersson the past few months here. He's a 28-year-old defenseman, right-handed guy, 6'1", 203, signed till the end of this upcoming season, making $4.55 million a year. The Calgary Flames signed this guy all the way back in 2020. And for the majority of those seasons, he was worth the money. I mean, 50 points in 82 games in 21-22, 49 points the year after that. Sure, his point production has declined year by year. Sure, his plus-minus has declined year by year. But even though he played this most previous season not at his best self, he wasn't 100% healthy, he also was tasked with playing the most minutes on a pretty meh Calgary Flames squad. Rasmus Andersson was tasked with multiple 25, 26 plus minute games throughout the year, and he was a very important piece to the Calgary Flames. Yeah, of course his plus-minus is bad. The Flames were not great, and he was playing the majority of the minutes, so obviously you can say that the numbers reflect poorly on him, but they also can reflect as a representation of the team. But throughout the course of the summer, we had been seeing a bunch of Rasmus Andersson trade rumors. Insiders and analysts talking about how this guy could be on the cusp of getting moved and how he's in a pretty tough spot with his contract, etc., etc. Do the Flames really want to keep this guy? Does he want to be a Flame? Do the Flames want to get younger, etc., etc., etc.? And it got to a point where we started hearing word as to where it is Andersson would want to go, which teams would potentially be involved. We've spoken about Detroit, Dallas, Vegas, a bunch of other teams, but David Pagnotta's appearance on the Hello Hockey show had maybe some new information here. Now, I'm going to leave a link in the description to the YouTube video broadcast if you want to watch the episode with David Pagnotta. It'll be there in the description for your viewing pleasure. But we also are going to give a shout out to Canucks News Summaries, who went out there and summarized David Pagnotta's Edmonton Sports Talk program hit. Now, Canucks News Summaries, you might be saying, wait a minute, what? We're talking about the Flames and the Kings. Yeah, I know, it's Canucks News Summaries, but he summarized the thing. The entire thing is not just about the Canucks, so going over to the Rasmus Andersson update from David Pagnotta, this is the summary from Canucks News Summaries. In regards to the Calgary Flames, David Pagnotta does not know if Rasmus Andersson is enthusiastic about staying, or else he would have signed by now. Andersson's preferences in a trade are the Golden Knights and the Stars. And there also was a trade in place for Andersson with the Kings that was pending on an extension. The deal was nixed when Andersson wouldn't sign that extension. And so there's a lot to unpack there in that short little summary. The idea that Rasmus Andersson was going to get traded to LA, potentially, I'd say, as a Jordan Spence replacement. You gotta remember the Kings just sent that guy away to the Ottawa Senators, another right-handed defenseman, a lot younger than Andersson is. But if the Kings sent away Spence, and they got all the stuff that they got in that trade in exchange, which, surprise, surprise, wasn't a right-handed defenseman, it was just draft picks. If the LA Kings traded away Jordan Spence because they're like, hey, we're going to get Rasmus Andersson. Let's just open up a spot on our right side D. Only for the guy to not be willing to sign an extension. That is absolute cuckoldry at full capacity there. Oh, guess what, LA? Sorry, you guys gotta play Brandt Clark now. How about that? You guys didn't want to do that for most of last season, and now y'all are gonna have to because you didn't get Andersson. Now, of course, the timelines could be all different and stuff. Maybe the Spence trade happened after the Rasmus Andersson trade fell through, but it just doesn't seem like a reasonable outcome when you think about how things went. If Rasmus Andersson was going to be a King and a trade was already in place, only for the deal to be nixed because he didn't want to sign an extension, you got to start thinking, okay, well, what is it that Andersson really wants? Does he not care about a team that's consistently in the playoffs, or does he just want a team that's better? Are we going to start seeing some sort of a Matthew Tkachuk-esque situation here, where Rasmus will be in control of his destiny and ultimately put the hands of the Calgary Flames behind their backs and tie it up, saying, hey, I want this team or that team, not this other team? And then you also have the idea of the state tax, because I think that's going to be a coincidence that people are going to point to in this discussion. Wait a minute, Rasmus Andersson didn't want to go to LA. The state tax in Cali is pretty high. In Nevada, they don't got any. Nor do they have any in Dallas, Texas. So is it going to be Vegas or Dallas or Florida or Tampa? Are we going to see Rasmus force his hand to go to one of these teams where he can get more money? LA's a pretty alright team. I mean, they're not the best, but they're fine. It's just interesting to me how they would have opened up a right-handed roster spot long term, it seems, and Andersson was like, yeah, no, sorry, I'm not going to take that. I don't want to go to LA. I don't want to be with this team. Maybe he saw the inevitability of how things are going to age out with the departures of Kopitar and inevitably, one day, whenever the hockey gods come knocking at his door, Drew Doughty. Maybe Rasmus Andersson is just an ultimate competitor. Maybe he wants to be a part of a team that's a lot more competitive and winning. And maybe Andersson just sees more of an opportunity in Vegas and Dallas. Who knows? Or maybe it's short-sighted. Maybe it's like, yeah, no, I don't want to wait and see what Clark and Byfield and all these other young Kings can become. I want to go to the team that's winning now. So cue Dallas, so cue Vegas, so cue whomever. We know Rasmus Andersson said in an interview earlier last season that he hates Vancouver and he hates Edmonton, so he's not going to go there. Of course, we understand that that's for rivalry purposes. He's cutting a promo on these divisional rival teams, so that makes sense, but I do kind of wonder how the LA Kings fit into the fold there. Is there an underrated part of this that says that Rasmus just really doesn't like LA either? He doesn't like any Pacific team other than Vegas, I guess. Yeah, honestly, that does make sense from a pragmatic point of view, but ultimately, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the Rasmus Andersson update we have had from David Pagnotta, about the axed, the nixed, the rejected trade between the Flames and the Kings, which would have seen Andersson head over to the City of Angels? Kings fans, Flames fans, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video at any time, feel free to hit the like button. If you did not enjoy this video, then please click that dislike button. The comment section is your floor. They help out with the algorithm, so they're very appreciated. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.